Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. This is Dr. Nosheen Tariq Siddiqui, and the subject we are doing is pharmacognosy, in which we are doing the drugs which belong to animal origin. Those are drugs of animal origin. As I've told you in my first two lectures, that there are drugs, numerous drugs, naturally originated drugs, which are derived from animals and which are used in pharmaceutical preparations as well. We all know that previously or traditionally only natural originated medicines were used. And later, then after the isolation of these natural products, synthetic products were formed. So we'll see about the different compounds which are isolated from animal origins. We have already gone through in our previous classes or previous semester, we have gone through the main components which are obtained from plant origin. And now we have started from the animal origin drugs. The next which we are starting is gelatin. You must have seen and you must have encountered or tasted, or you know how gelatin is, because we commonly use it in our daily lives as well, usually, or if we don't use it ourselves, we must have consumed those types of products which contain gelatin. Previously, it was obtained from sources which are not halal for us, for Muslims. So now different other sources are also used for this purpose to get a halal gelatin. So all gelatin are not prohibited to use. What is gelatin? Gelatin is an animal protein made by boiling the collagenous material from animal bones. Basically, it is isolated from the bones of the animals, where the main part is collagen. Basically, it is derived from collagen, and as it is a part of their bone, so that's why if the source is not halal, then we don't use it. So mainly the sources were pig and cattle, but we cannot differentiate between pigs and cattle gelatin. So that's why people they discontinue to use gelatin. But now, as we have different sources, and I'll tell you how to identify that this gelatin is from which source. So gelatin is an animal protein made by boiling the collagenous material from animal bones, hides, and skins. You can also get it from hides and skins as well. Pig and cattle bones are typically used to make gelatin. It usually, traditionally, or you can say, not traditionally, but you can say it is formerly isolated from pigs and cattle. In pharmaceutical industry, gelatin is used primarily to make hard and soft gelatin capsules. The hard and soft gelatin capsules were made from the gelatin. The two types of gelatin, the hard and the two types of capsules, the hard and the soft. Gelatin is an important functional biopolymer widely used in foods to improve elasticity, consistency, and stability. You must have eaten the jellies. Most students must have eaten jelly bears or jelly spheres, something like that. So you have seen that there is a kind of elasticity, in that product. That elasticity, because that is sweet, basically it is a sweet solution which has gelatin in that. That's why it has this elasticity or consistency, and that's why it is more stable as well. So gelatin is an important functional biopolymer widely used in food to improve elasticity, consistency, and stability. It can be obtained not only from the skin and bones of land animals, but also from fish and insects. These are halal products. Okay. In recent years, gelatin from fish and edible insects provide an alternative source that is acceptable for halal, that is Muslims, and kosher, that's Jewish products. Gelatin extraction has been reported for different fishes and insects. In gelatin manufacture, two methods are usually used. the acid and the alkaline process. To produce type A and type B gelatin respectively. Means the acid and the alkaline process, they are two processes to make gelatin. And type A and B, I will describe it later. Chemistry of gelatin. Gelatin is a substantially pure protein food ingredient. This is basically, you can say, the purest form of protein which is found in animal, obtained by the thermal denaturation of collagen. It basically, you get gelatin by the thermal denaturation of collagen. You first isolate collagen from the fish, of the bones of animal source, whatever you want. And then the thermal denaturation is done, which is the structural mainstay and most common protein in the animal kingdom. Collagen ki baat ho rahi hai. Collagen is the structurally mainstay and the common protein in the animal kingdom. This is how the graph or the picture is showing that you have collagen, and then when you heat, you get gelatin out, the extract out from the bones, and it is a kind of mash like products. समझ लीजिए आपके होती है थोड़ी सी. Gelatin sources. Gelatin can be made from many different sources of collagen. Cattle bones, hides, pig skins, and fish are the principal commercial sources. As such, it may come from either agricultural or non-agricultural sources. It can also, gelatin are also isolated from some agricultural sources as well. But there are no plant sources of gelatin, and there is no chemical relationship between gelatin and other materials referred to as vegetable gelatin, such as wheat extract. You can get gelatin from wheat, but there is no certain kind of chemical relationship between the different sources of gelatin. Meroid et al., these people, the team, prepared and characterized edible halal gelatin from two Sudanese edible insects that are melon or sorghum bugs. They feed on sorghum and other plants. Mammalians, so that's how you get to connect with the vegetable source as well, because these plants feed on on plant sources. No? Mammalian gelatin is derived from collagen, which is the principal constituent of connective tissues, as I've already told you, and bones of vertebrate animals. Study of two different mammalian gelatins, that is from bovine, which is known as type B, and porcine, which is type A. If it's written type B, it means type B gelatin is from bovine source, that is cow, and porcine is animal pig source. Okay. Fish gelatin can be obtained from the skin and bones of fish. Both the skin and the bones are the source. The waste from fish processing after filtering can account for as much as 75% of the total catch weight. You can get, if you have 100% catch, means if you have 100 kgs of fish, then 75% you can, extract from fish waste is 75%, and from that you can extract. About 30% of such waste consists of skin and bones and high collagen content that can be used to produce fish gelatin. Extraction of gelatin from fish skin may provide an alternative source that is acceptable for kosher and halal products, and serve as an alternative for markets concerned about bovine spongiform encephalopathy. Basically, there was a disease. This disease, the transmission is unknown. Basically, how it transmits from one or transmits, it is still unknown, but it is a kind of neurological disorder which occurred, and the reason for it was given to the bovine spongiform and to the bovine source, basically. So people were afraid that if you use from the bovine source, that they can get bovine spongiform encephalopathy. So that's why the use of the bovine gelatin was basically seized. Insect gelatin may provide an alternative source that is acceptable for Muslim products. In Sudan, many edible insects consumed and desert locusts considered the most famous one in many parts of the country besides sorghum and melon bugs. There are other bugs, desert locust bug भी होती है जो कि जो है edible insects में कहलाती है. सूडान में जो है लोग insects भी they eat insects as well. So the gelatin was isolated from these insects. Extraction and preparation of gelatin, there are three main processes: mild acid extraction, distilled water extraction, and hot water extraction. Functional and physical properties of gelatin. The functional properties of gelatin are related to their chemical structure, of course, because the chemical structure is basically responsible for the functional properties. What are those functional properties? These are gel strength, viscosity, setting behavior, and melting point. These properties, they depend on their chemical structure, what type of chemical structure it has. Of gelatin, which depends on its molecular weight, distribution, and amino acid composition. Basically, what is the chemical characteristic of that gelatin that determines its functional properties, which includes gel strength, viscosity, setting behavior. These things are very important while you are making a product, either of them, either pharmaceutical, food, or any of them. The mechanism of gelation is called gelation. Gelatin form gel similar to those of carbohydrates by forming a microstructural network. Basically, how carbohydrates means the high molecular weight carbohydrates, the polysaccharides, you can say. Polysaccharides, they also, or the carrageen or agar and these types of things, they also form stiff like or a mash like structure, and they also give a foamy look. But gelatin, they also form a gel similar to that of carbohydrates, forming a microstructural network. It also forms a structure, a microstructural network means that the structure is very fine and it's very delicate, basically. That's why, when you take it in the mouth, you don't feel that you are breaking something. They are not very hard structures. Gelatin uses an application. General uses, gelatin is used as stabilizer. Basically, it is used as a stabilizer if you take it as a common use. So in yogurt preparation in our country, we still get fresh yogurt, but in other countries or in abroad, yogurt and different types of especially yogurt, they, for their ease of transportation and marketing, they are stored in containers and then they are marketed. So for that product, especially for yogurt type of thing, because for it you need something to keep its texture and its taste intact. So you need a stabilizer, a good stabilizer for that. A stabilizer, it doesn't have a taste of its own. So gelatin is used as a stabilizer in yogurt, thickener in jam, and texturizer and emulsifier. In jam, it is used as a thickener and texturizer and emulsifier. Usually for jam, pectin is used, but you can also use gelatin. And there are certain type of jellies, especially. They are not jams, but jellies, which, in which you purely use gelatin. Oil and water emulsion also have this gelatin. Gelatin is used as a foaming, emulsifying, and wetting agent in food, pharmaceuticals, medicals, and technical applications due to its surface active properties. What is its surface active property? It's to form a gel like film is its surface active property. Gelatin was among the first commercial raw materials suitable as a contact preservative for meat and meat product. For this also, pectin is also used. You have to preserve meat, and you can because you have to when in Pakistan it's still not used, but in other countries where there are butcher shops, they keep the meat because they cut the animal in the morning and they then distribute and then in the shops, and they contain those fresh meat and or some meat products. So they keep it there for a whole day or two. So to preserve those materials, and later certain times, meat is exported as well. So for that purpose, for preservation, so that meat should not get rotten, gelatin is also used. The literature contains few references to methods to clarify tea, including the use of gelatin. Gelatin is also used to clarify tea. Gelatin capsules have been used to encapsulate nutrition supplements such as well as medications. Certain times, you cannot make tablets of everything, because certain times you have to keep the material as it is, and when combining with the other materials, it can maybe destabilize or it can deteriorate, or the nutrition value can get lost. So that type of compounds or medications, they are encapsulated basically as it is in a gelatinous capsule, which does not, interact with those nutrients, and they keep that supplement fit for or good for as medication. Industrial application of gelatin. Gelatin is an important hydrocolloid in the food, pharmaceutical, and photographic industry. Food gelatin has been widely used in food additives and healthy food due to its high content of protein and amino acids. It is considered as a very healthy food because it has high contents of amino acids or protein. Edible gelatin is made from animal hide and bone through the processing techniques such as defatting, pulverization, freezing, and drying. These are the methods which are used or the techniques which are used while you're processing the bone. You first defatted, you remove the fat, you pulverize, you freeze, and the drying is, of course, drying is. The unique hydrocolloidal nature of gelatin has enabled it to find numerous applications in the food industries. These can be divided into 4 main groups. Previously, in previous slide, we have seen the numerous types, the basics, the application in food industry. But you can also divide them into 4 main groups, like confectionery, jelly desserts, dairy products, and meat products. Because in fact, confectionery means you have a final or finished product. It's a sweet product or dessert farming, products. Confectionery, mainly for providing chewiness, texture, and foam stabilization, means in confectionery, it is used mainly for the purpose of their providing chewiness and provide the texture. When you are eating something, you are familiar for the right texture. So that is maintained by the addition of jellies of gelatin. Jelly desserts to provide creaminess, fat reduction, and mouthfeel. These things are just not names, or these are just not the property which I'm telling you. These are something which, consumer has. This is consumer, what you can say, the consumer के लिए एक तरह से आप कह लेंगे consumer appliance के लिए, या उसकी consumer को attract करने के लिए, या उसको better feel देने के लिए ये सब काम किए जाते हैं, ठीक है? To provide creaminess, fat reduction, and mouthfeel. Dairy products के में mostly to provide stabilization and texturization both. And in meat products to provide water binding and hydrolyzed gelatin application. In meat products, you get, of course, water content is there. If the water content is there and they are not basically stabilized, then many other जो है वो माइक्रोबियल ग्रोथ हो सकती है, डिफरेंट चीज हो सकती है जिसकी वजह से इसको यूज किया जाता है. जनरल सेइंग gelatin is used in foods as a beverage and juice clarifier. You know, certain times when you take out juice from any food or something like that, you know, for final product or the finished product, you have to, you know, clear the juice, because juices are cloudy, certain times cloudy, and you know that cloudy thing is not amicable, or they are not good for to see. So of course the market value will drop down. So for that purpose, the juices clarifies, and gelatin is very useful in that. Desserts and yogurt thickener के तौर पे भी use होता है. Further uses include fruit toppings for pastry, instant gravy, instant sauces and soups, edible films, and confectionery products. Basically those products, you know, which require stability. So it is used as a stabilizer in ice cream, cream cheese, cottage cheese, as well as in food forms and fruit salads. Gelatin is also used in coating meat products to reduce color deterioration, and gelatin coat is equally effective during light and dark storage. Means that it does not, the gelatin coating does not affect by light. Gelatin is used in canned meat products such as hams, loaves, frankfurters, Vienna sausages, and curd. These are, you know, different canned meat products which are very readily used in Europe and America and all that. That's why, you know, it is there, because that makes their use, you know, more, because they are used there to hold juices lost during cooking and to provide a good heat transfer medium during cooking. And you know, when you cook these food products, then they tend to hold the juices which it carries, and that's why, you know, it gives a good texture to your cooked material, or their cooked material. We don't use it basically. Gelatin is truly remarkable in terms of its many functional properties in food application. A variety of examples are given in this table. You can see the gel former. Why सिर्फ जेल फॉर्मिंग प्रॉपर्टी की वजह से किन प्रोडक्ट्स के अंदर जेल डेजर्ट, लंच मीट्स, कन्फेक्शनरी, पेट, consume, epoxy, ये सारी जो है वो different products हैं which is purely used for their gel forming. Use gelatin for its gel forming property. Whipping agent, marshmallow के अंदर इसको डाला जाता है because इससे जो है ना इसकी whipping को better करने के लिए nougats, mousses, soufflés, chiffons, whipped creams के अंदर, protective colloid के तौर पे confectionery के अंदर use होता है, ice creams के अंदर, binding agent, meat rolls, canned meats, confectionery, clarifying agent, beer, wine, fruit juices, and vinegar, film former, coating for fruits, meats, and dairy items, thickener, powder drink mixes, bouillon, gravies, sauces, soup, pudding, jelly, syrups, processing aid के तौर पे यूज होते हैं, माइक्रो एनकैप्सुलेशन ऑफ कलर्स, फ्लेवर्स, ऑयल्स, विटामिन्स, emulsifier, cream soups, sauces, flavoring meat, pastries, whipped cream, confectionery, stabilizer के तौर पे cream cheese, chocolate, milk, yogurt, and cream fillings, progeny as adhesive agents to affix nanoparticles, coconut and other items to confectioneries to bond layers, confectioneries together to find frosting to baked goods, and bind seasoning to meat products. In pharmaceutical preparation, the largest proportion of gelatin procured by the pharmaceutical industries is used mainly for hard and soft gelatin capsules, and for tableting coating, that is granulation, encapsulation, and microencapsulation, where it helps prevent oxidation and makes the preparation more palatable. The capsules are formed on mold pins, the surface of which carries a lubricant to facilitate the subsequent removal of the capsule. Gelatin with bloom in the range of 0 to 40 are offered for the microencapsulation of vitamins A, D, and E. Basically, this gelatin, you know, is graded according to its blooming ability. So gelatin is first, you know, graded, and the gelatin which has the blooming property, a blooming range between 0 to 140. They are basically used for the microencapsulation of vitamins. Fish gelatin have exceptionally good film forming properties and are offered for microencapsulation where religious reasons require the use of non-mammalian products. Gelatin capsules are commonly used to encapsulate various foods, nutrition, supplements, and medicines. Application for this technique have increased in the food industry since the encapsulated material can be protected from moisture. Why we need encapsulation? Because they protect from moisture, heat, or extreme conditions, thus enhancing their stability and maintaining the viability. Gelatin is used as excipient in pharmaceutical formulations, include vaccines, and it is used as binder for tablets. Excipients may be originated from quite distinct sources, including gelatin. There are different types of excipients. So gelatin is also can be one type of excipient. Gelatin is also used for weight loss. So basically, it is not directly related to weight loss, but you can say that consuming products with gelatin, they tend to give you a feel that you are full, so you will eat less. So that's how it is related to weight loss, treating osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, and brittle bones, because it is going the collagen in it or the protein, they are going to the bones and they are aiding in again they are kind of helping out in making the collagen of the bones again, or brittle bones especially. Some people also use it for strengthen bones, joints, and fingernails. Gelatin is used for improving hair quality and to shorten recovery after exercise and sports related injury. We'll also do these are also which we are going to do next are same the drugs which are animal origin, but they are also known as exotic animal substances, not because they are basically first traditional use, if you can say the traditional use, people use the drugs which now I'm going to elaborate or explain. These people usually used to get it from the other places or foreign country, so they were actually kind of named after that they don't belong here, जैसे हम कहते हैं ना बाहर से आया है, इस तरह इसी वजह से इनको जो है इन प्रोडक्ट्स को exotic animal substances कहते हैं, because they you don't get it from somewhere near, but you get it from somewhere far and wide. That's why they are hard to find, so they are called exotic animal substances. Animals and animal products derived from different organs of their bodies have constituted part of the inventory of medicinal substances used in various cultures since ancient times. Intensive research into the phenomena of zootherapy in the medieval and early Ottoman era has yielded 48 substances of animal origin. There have the Muslims, in early Ottoman era, they basically, and in medieval time as well, at the same time, they were quite intensive research, and then they basically explored and they find out that 48 substances of animal origin are very important, and they can be used or they were used medicinally. They were basically either they were medicinally used traditionally, or they were using those materials which they're known, but then they jotted it down. The vast majority of these substances were local and relatively easy to obtain. Most of the substances were domestic, like honey, wax, and silkworm. Usually those were, they were all around and they were using it. But other were parts of the local wildlife, like adder, cuttlefish, flycatcher, firefly, frog, triton, and scorpion. Part of the usual medieval household, certain things were they were there for, they were used as regular household work, like milk, cheese, lamb, etc. Or certain times like parasite, mouse, sting bug, Few substances were not local but exotic and therefore rare and expensive, like beaver testicles, musk oil, coral, ambergris. We are going to do that. Among those 48 substances, when early Ottomans, they actually researched, they found out certain products which they basically told or they wrote were, most of them were those products which were, which you get hold of in your daily life. You can get it easily around you, but there were certain compounds or certain things which were using, but they were not easy to get. So that those were called exotic and therefore rare and expensive they were, because they were not, you cannot easily get. Again, historical use of ancient Egypt mentions the medicinal use of substances derived from animals, for example, cattle milk, bee honey, lizard blood, ox organs, swallows liver, bat limbs, ambergris from sperm whale, and the glands of the musk deer. You can also find historical sources in ancient Egypt. Common beaver, civet cat, musk, pearl, Spanish fly, sperm whale, which were imported from distant land via the trade routes and therefore were exotic. That's why they were exotic. That's what I was telling you in previous slides. The habitat of these animals was special and found in distinct places. They were very rare and trade in them was usually a monopoly. Not all of the people used to, do the trade. There were specific type of people which were doing those trade. That's why there was a kind of monopoly and there were few peoples only, which, that's why maybe because only few peoples can go out and get it. So they, of course, give it. That's why who get them. There was a monopoly they have created. They were very expensive. The animal substances were applied to treat a wide range of symptoms and diseases such as skin disease, bleeding wounds, internal diseases, hemorrhoids, animal bites, and sex-related diseases. Some of the substances were used for other purposes such as perfumes, musk oil, and ambergris, lighting, that waxes were used, and food, honey, chicken products, goat products. We are also touching musk deer. The first exotic animal product is musk deer. Musk is an odoriferous secretion, which basically it is a secretion which has a very good smell, and it was traditionally used. They were solely used for this purpose when they were first isolated. Musk is an odoriferous secretion derived from the musk gland under the abdomen near the pubis of the male musk deer. The biological name is Muscus musciferus, family Muscariaceae, and the use is musk is used for a component of fragrance and as a fixative in perfume. It does not only have good fragrance, but it is, it also fixes other perfuming agents as well. In animal studies, components of musk reportedly have anti-inflammatory and antihistaminic activity. Usually, it has both anti-inflammatory and antihistaminic activity. What is musk deer? It can refer to any or all members in the genus Muscus of the family Muscariaceae. Actually, Muscus, the sole one of the family Muscariaceae, has 7 species. So all these species, carry this musk. Hence, medicinally, musk mainly refer to the dried secretion of a gland situated between the navel and the genitals of the mature male. The deer musk gland, also called the deer musk pod, is cut and placed in the shade to dry. When in use, it needs to split when you get the musk pod, you shade dry it, and when it is ready for use, you split it open, remove the shell, and you obtain the musk grains, which are, when you dry the musk, it forms in the form of grains, and you get it, namely the black granular material. It is called black granular material. In terms of the species in captivity, the grain can be collected directly from the pod and dried in the shade. If you have animal in your captivity, means if you have it somewhere, so you can, directly you can get the pod. You don't need to kill the animal. These grains should be stored in an airtight container in order to keep away from moisture, heat, and sunlight, because it gets deteriorated with these. The rear mask pod is spherical over a flattened circular, 3 to 7 centimeter in diameter. It's not very big and it's not very small either. One side is slightly flat, densely covered with white or gray brown short hairs that are arranged in vortex. You can see it in the left hand side picture, the pod and the granules which are coming out. And with a central hole pod, which is called known as pod mouth, that is about 2 to 3 millimeter in diameter. This you can the deer which is there, the glands which produces these secretion, they are located in different parts of the animal, which is then they are secreted and they are stored in this pod. But the glands, which is also known as the scent glands, they are located in the different parts of the body of the animal. Composition: musk of Muscus brassivoski flavor contains muscone, muscopyridine, the male hormone, cholesterol esterase, muscomuscus phenicus. There are different type of musk which you get from different species of that animal kingdom. But the difference is, there are differences in different composition. The basic components are ketonic. They are similar, but there are certain times, you get more compounds in certain types of species, and in certain compounds they are not. So that's why, I have written few examples. So musk of Muscus musciferus contains mucosone, muscopyridine, hydroxy muscopyridine A and B, over 10 kind of androsten fusion derivatives like 5-alpha androsten, 370-dione, and 3-alpha hydroxy 5-alpha androsten. You can see that they are steroidal compounds, which you can say are basically precursor of cholesterol or cholesterol type thing, and of course the hormones which are sex hormones. The dried secretions of Himalayan musk deer pod contains muscone, neuromuscone, derivatives of androsten, cholesterol, cholestanol, cholesterol, 3-one proteins, amino acid, lecithin, fats, urea, and so on. Deer musk benefits. Now, what are the benefits? In recent years, deer musk oil has been increasingly popular among people from many countries in the world. Actually, this musk scent was used in China as far as the Eastern Han Dynasty. It is used traditionally in China first, but nowadays it is very common and popular among young people. Initially, it was only used for dressing up, and later it became popular cosmetic and deodorant in the Tang and Song dynasty as well. This is a rare animal species with strong diffusion, stunning allure, special soft and elegant aroma, and excellent fixative ability. Thanks for that, it is known all over the world along the attar and jasmine oil. People from both the East and West always have a great interest in it. More than just a fragrance, it is really impressive on medicinal uses. Many clinical documents show that musk-based medicines can rapidly release the acute conditions. They can rapidly, basically, can get rid of the acute conditions. They can get easily cured, or they can enhance the acute conditions. They can help in the acute conditions. Take patients with coronary heart disease as an example. It can help quickly ease angina, syncope, or shock in the heart. So if you give Musk to someone who has coronary heart disease, so it can easily help in angina, pain, in syncope or shock in the heart attack, can quickly act on the muscles and bone marrow. For instance, adding a little bit of it with medicine that treats sore can particularly increase the pharmaceutical effect. In addition, the Chinese pharmacopoeia shows that it contains in 12% of all Chinese patent medicine. And the Chinese pharmacopoeia, you can see that all in Chinese medicine, in the Chinese patented medicine, almost 12% of them, they have musk in it. In Western medicine, it is commonly used as emergency medicines like cardiotonic and stimulant. Modern pharmacological action of muscles, it effects on the central nervous system are bidirectional. A small dose can excite you, while large doses can inhibit. It has a bidirectional effect on central nervous system. How that small doses, they basically tend to excite, while the large doses, they inhibit. This is the effect. And it can enhance hypoxia, tolerance of central nervous system, and improve cerebral circulation. It has significant cardiac effect, which can stimulate the heart and increase the cardiac contraction and amplitude and enhance myocardial function. It has considerable benefit for prevention and treatment of ischemic heart disease disorders caused by thrombosis. And it has some anti-inflammatory effect, which is similar to the hydrocortisone. It has obvious excitement and boost on the uterine contraction, in particular to the pregnant uterus in the body. As for non-pregnant uterus, the excitement comes slowly but steadily. Muscone can significantly increase the frequency and intensity of uterine contraction. In addition, it is an anti-implantation and anti-pregnancy, and the role becomes more and more significant with the prolonged pregnancy. It has inhibitory action in human tumor cells, and the action becomes stronger with the increasing concentration. In short, dear Musk, now the side effects, I've always told you that even if the compounds we are studying are natural, we must not forget their side effects. They also have their side effects, and they are certain times contraindicated to use. In short, deer musk is a good herb when used properly. However, as a medicine, it has a certain hazard to the human body, since it is with some certain pharmacological functions. So it is necessary to understand it more before the use, or may go wrong if you abuse it. So it's with everything, every natural product. You must understand its use before using it. Overdose of it may occasionally lead to slight headache, nausea, poor appetite, and excessive use of it can inhibit the central nervous system and stimulate the digestive tract mucous membrane. The symptoms of poisoning include oral mucosal erosion if you take it too much. Okay, if anybody takes it too much, then the poisoning includes oral mucous erosion, nausea, vomiting, loss of teeth, blood in stool, splitting blood, blood in urine, or in severe cases, it can result in respiratory central paralysis, heart failure, visceral extensive bleeding, and even death can cause. And it was ever reported that the use of 0.06 gram musk by a kid caused confusion, irregular. See how much? Only 0.06 gram musk by a kid, confusion, irregular breathing, coma, conversion, anuria, and mydriasis occurred. Musk can affect fertility, although it won't cause infertility. Long-term exposure to it may affect pregnancy chances. In addition, frequently contacting with it may, worse still, lead to miscarriages, so pregnant women should avoid contact or smell it by all means. By the way, it shouldn't be used together with garlic and in the case of collapse syndrome. Okay, next we'll do in our next class. Thank you for today. Allah Hafiz.